Okay, Algebra 1, finally getting this video up for you, all right? So here we go, long division with polynomials. All right, so I'm gonna just walk you through a couple of examples here, all right? See if you can just kind of follow what I'm doing. I'll try to go slow and try to explain what I'm doing as I go. If you need to, watch the video a couple of times until it kind of clicks, all right? So we're gonna start off by asking ourselves, we're going to look at this first term right here, and we're going to say x times what gives me x squared. And of course that would be x. Okay, x times x gives me x squared. Okay, so it's just kind of like if we're dividing, regular. Okay, 2 times what gives me 6. Well, that'd be 3. Okay. So the way I always think about it is, okay, I'm going to start with this first term here. X to the first times what gives me x squared? The answer is x, or x to the first. Okay. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take what I have up here. I'm going to distribute it to both of these terms here, all right? So x times x gives me x squared, all right? Now, here's where it gets a little bit tricky, and this is where I want you to pay attention, okay? Whenever you're dividing, whenever you're doing long division, what are you doing as you go further and further down? You're subtracting, right? Subtracting, subtracting, subtracting. So that subtraction sign actually changes the sign. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and just factor in that subtraction sign that's going to already be here. And I'm going to put, so if I take x times x would normally give me what? Positive x squared, right? Okay, but because there's an understood subtraction sign here, we're going to change the sign. So every time we bring something down here, you're going to see it play out here in just a second. But we're going to always change the sign. So x times x would normally give me x squared, but I'm going to make that negative x squared. And x times 3 would normally give me positive 3x, but we're going to make it negative 3x. Okay? So just remember that so I just distributed this x to this x and then to this 3. And when I wrote the product down here, I changed the sign. So x times x, again, would normally give me positive x squared, but I'm going to change that sign to negative x squared. X times 3 would normally give me positive 3x. I'm going to make that negative 3x. All right, so x squared minus x squared just cancels out, gives you 0. 10x minus 3x gives us 7x, and then I'm going to bring down this positive 21. Okay, so now I'm going to repeat the process. I'm going to come back to this. It all starts right here with the first term. X times what gives me 7x? Well, the answer is positive 7. So now my next step is I'm going to distribute that 7 to this x and to this 3, okay? And when I do, so 7 times x gives me positive 7x, but remember I'm going to change the sign. And then 7 times 3 normally gives me positive 21, but remember I'm going to make that negative 21. And then all these cancel out. So my answer is x plus 7. Okay. All right, another example here. So you'll notice also that you'll see some of your problems are written like this, but you're going to want to rewrite them in this form. Okay, so let's do this again. So we're going to start off with this first term. All right, we're not worrying about this yet, just this term right here. So 3y times what gives me 6y squared? Well, that's going to be 2y. All right, so 3y times 2y gives me 6y squared. All right, now next step, distribute this to both terms and change the sign when you write them down here. So 2y times 3y normally gives me 6y squared, but I'm going to change that to negative 6y squared. And 2y times negative 4 would normally give me negative 8y, but I'm going to change the sign to positive 8y. All right, so those cancel. Now negative 5y plus 8y gives me 3y, and then I'm going to bring down this negative 4. All right, so 3y times what would give me 3y? Well, positive 1. All right, so 1 times 3y would normally give me positive 3y, but when we write it here, we're going to change the sign. 1 times negative 4 would normally give me negative 4, but I'm going to change that to positive 4. And these all cancel, and my answer is 2y plus 1. Okay. All right, now a little bit longer one here. And I want you to notice that we always want our terms to be in descending powers. Descending powers. So that's not happening here. Remember descending powers, it should be an x cubed, and then the next term should be a term that has x squared, and then x, and then anything that doesn't have a variable should be at the end. So I'm going to rewrite this whole part. It should be x cubed minus 7x squared minus 49x plus 43 is what that should be. So you see how our powers of x are descending, x cubed, x squared, x to the first. All right, and then I'm going to divide by x squared minus 49. All right, so x squared times what gives us x cubed? Well, be x. All right, so x times x squared would normally give me positive x cubed, but we're going to make that negative x cubed. Okay, now watch what happens here. I'm going to take x times negative 49. That would normally give me negative 49x, but we're going to change that to positive 49x. And look at notice where I'm putting that. I'm lining it up with its like term. I'm not going to line it up under the negative 7x squared because I want to line my terms up as like terms. Okay? So these cancel and these cancel. So I'm going to bring everything else down. Negative 7x squared and positive 43. Okay? All right, now, x squared times what gives me negative 7x squared? Well, the answer is negative 7. All right, so I'm going to take negative 7 times x squared would normally give me negative 7x squared. But remember, we're going to change the sign when we put it down here. So it's going to be positive 7x squared. And go back up here, negative 7 times negative 49. Okay, that's going to be the same thing as taking positive 49 times positive 7. So 49 times 7, 63. And then 28 plus 6 is 34. Okay, so it's going to give me, that would normally give me positive 343, but in this case it's going to give me negative 343, right? Because remember, we always change. This would normally give me negative times negative, gives me a positive answer, but when I write it into my division problem, I'm always going to change the sign to the opposite sign. Okay, so those cancel. All right, so what's positive 43 minus 343? Okay, well, it's going to be negative 300. In this case, we have a remainder. So my answer here would be x minus 7 with a remainder of negative 300. All right. Okay, so Hopefully that helps to see it done and explained a little bit. Do your best in the lesson, and I will see you next week, okay?